Hello and welcome again to Forgotten Temples, and this is an absolute delight. Now, as I'm walking these steps, you are walking them with me, and I don't know what I'm going to see next. I know what the final payoff is, and that is a temple so remarkable I've travelled an awful long way to see it. I mean, already this lead-in is giving us a clue, isn't it? I'm at Koh Ker. It's an abandoned city that was reigned over by the King Jayavarman IV. And this temple, above all that I have filmed here, is most certainly the centerpiece. I mean, just look at this. This is like walking through a fairy tale. And I know that there's a huge pyramid temple somewhere up ahead. Now this is just remarkable. Walking through a labyrinth, and in these rooms I can still see pedestals, the holes where statues would have been. And I think we spy it at long last. Up ahead, through these trees, is something I saw a photo of an awful long time ago, and I've been dying to come here. And here it is, the mighty Koh Ker. Now, very quickly, let me explain something to you. I have no need to lie to you. The reason I make these videos, primarily, it is a selfish one. I was an addict on over a litre of vodka a day, and when I put down the bottle, I realised I had to do something to fill the time. So I started hunting temples. But when I release these videos and people enjoy them, it warms my heart. I'm so very grateful for all your comments and for the few patrons I have. So it's a lonely and, you could say, selfish quest. So I can tell you in all honesty, when I came down this pathway here and my eyes rested on this, I was struck by complete awe. What in fact happened was my jaw fell open and I was amazed. I thought this was something that you see in cartoons. It was just an expression people used, jaw dropping. But it isn't. It's an actual thing. I have never had that sensation in my life. That is how staggering this is. And I try to work out as to, this thing's overloading my mind. What can I compare it to? Well, do you know what it's like? It would be like walking round the corner and seeing an enormous spaceship. And if this absolute jewel hidden in the jungle has that effect on me, a guy that's seen well over 200 temples, imagine what it did to the people back then that lived in wooden huts made of palm leaves and so on. I mean, it must have just bent their minds. Now, this image isn't doing the mighty Koh Ker justice. What I now need to do is show you, prove it to you, that this thing is as mind-bending as I say it is. And the best way to do that is to give you an idea as to its size. I mean, already I've started to become somewhat insignificant. And that is the whole point. Because we are here in front of the home of the gods. And we are insignificant compared to them. Having trouble seeing me? I would guess so. And I very much hope that my microphone holds out. I've still got another 15 feet to go here. And at last I hit the wall. Now, I very, very much hope you can hear me, because this is such a wonderful sensation being here. It's like I have fallen through the pages of some fantasy novel. Now, this bit is not in fact scripted. I thought I would walk back towards you because I've got something to show you. Now, the temples have had a big part in me recovering from what was an almost fatal illness. I won't overplay it. I've been in all sorts of terrible situations in hospital, shall we say. And I feel so lucky and so blessed to have temples in my life. And I often think that the temple gods are with me. And I've said that before. I may well have said it on this video. But have a look here. This chap here, as I just mentioned, gods and so on, he alights on my finger. And throughout the whole sequence, this butterfly has just sat there. This is the sort of thing that happens to me awful lot. It really does. It happens more than is normal. So it's a quick hello from this lad here. And maybe he's a winged messenger that brings us glad tidings from those gods that still dwell in this incredible kingdom. The luck I have and the things I see occasionally are just incredible. It's as though someone is smiling down on me benevolently, and I'm no religious person. It's not often I'm short on words. If you watch this channel, you'll know that. There is where we filmed the opening shot of that face there, and we're now walking round, and I can see there's some kind of building at the back there. So what can I tell you about this temple? Well, I know how he paid for it, dear old Jayavarman IV, and that was by raising taxes. And with over 40 temples in this complex, you know, it must have been an awful lot of taxes. I mean, you don't find one of these in the bottom of your breakfast cereal box, you know, a little free gift from Kellogg's. That ain't gonna happen, I promise you that. The amount of labour and work that went into this must have been insane. But what it did do, without a doubt, was stamp his authority, because he went on an epic building spree. So there's no way his name as this temple wasn't elevated in the realms. Now, that building I thought I saw was in fact this outer wall, but there is a break in it that was giving it a slightly confused feeling. Now, this is round the back side of the exact same temple. Now, I'm only just managing to get it into frame. There is where we've just walked in from, and this is my final corner, and there is a stairway right here. So we're going up. Yes, yes, yes. This is going to be absolutely wonderful. Now then, on to the first level we head. And this is level 1. Good Lord, these terracing here, but this wall here is absolutely massive. I would say it's about 18 feet. It's huge. But we have yet more stairs to climb, so up to number 2. And here we are on the second. Now this shows here, rather interesting. I would believe they've left this deliberately because it just looks so lovely. But it also could be a reflection as how the tourist dollar doesn't come here. I have filmed another temple in this complex where they're still cutting the trees away from the temple because, you know, we've got to remember the Khmer Rouge was running around destroying everything in the 70s and 80s and still had a kind of presence in the 1990s. So, you know, there's an awful lot of work to be done here. So we have yet another staircase, and if we look skyward, it's up there we're aiming for. We are literally going to the heavens. Another couple of flights done, and the view is already looking impressive. Now what we can see, as I just said, is an echo of my sentiment, which is there is work to be done here. I'm sure they've done the primary, which is to, you know, shore it up as best as possible. And already you're getting a look at the quite unbelievable view. And this is the second to last. Again, look, we can see there's certainly work to be done. But something else has caught my eye. Now, I don't know, we all have to pay attention, don't we, and obey the rules. But this one, well, do not draw. Fair enough. There's quite a few things that should be banned up here, but apparently drawing is one of them. And where does one find a do not draw sign? You know, I think even Amazon would have trouble with that. Now then, this is what's going to take us up, and we are going to touch the sky itself. And here we crest over the final step, and we reach the pinnacle. And what do we see? Well, we've got masonry. It's obviously been stacked, which continues my conclusion that work has been done to shore it up. And in here we have 2 gentlemen. Now, I'm not too sure, but I believe these may be Garudas. Now, Garudas, they just look a bit different. I can't really get a good view on them, to tell you. Garudas are what the Lord Vishnu used to transport himself around, because they were half bird of prey. So if you're a lord, you'd get on your Garuda and off you would go. But don't take my word on that. I'm not too sure if they actually are. And it is from here, the very peak, that we can stand where a mighty king once stood and do exactly what he would have done. And that is survey his kingdom. And what an incredible kingdom it was. Because it was he that could stare out. And where there are now trees, he could clearly see a mighty city. And in that city, there was the temples that he had commissioned, he had financed. And what we see here is a hint of what would have been the view for himself, and that is farmland and people. But now it is all gone, and it is one of the most sobering thoughts that ever crosses my mind when I'm in such sights as this, is an entire ancient city is hidden in that jungle. And I'm sure when the king stood here, he thought he was here forever. But it just shows you how very fragile cities and society is. But saying that, look at where I'm standing. And after all, am I not quoting his name? So therefore, he has reached immortality. So there it is. A temple that introduced me to a whole new sensation and made me realize that the expression jaw-dropping is actually a thing. I may get older, but my goodness, I have so much to learn, and I have so much to learn about temples. But you yourself hopefully have learned a thing or two. But I have a nagging thought in my head, and that is, I'm guessing that you have a question, a compelling question that you're dying to ask me. And that is, Mr. B, where do I get a do not draw sign? Well, I've checked on Amazon. Guess what? They don't sell them. The biggest retailer in the world does not have do not draw signs. So, me being me and thinking of you, right here, right now is a high-res image of a do not draw sign, so you may screenshot it, print it out and make one of your own. It is my gift from me to you. Now then, all levity aside, you can see why gods would dwell here, and they would dwell here very happily. This has been worth every single inch of road I've travelled, even if I had to do it on bended knee. It is that amazing. I could not be happier. And I hope it has lightened your day just a tad, or maybe a bit more. But primarily, I hope it's given you the inspiration to go out and have adventure of your own, no matter how small. And as always, I ask you to like, subscribe and comment, and if by chance you could drop a few coins to help me build this library, I would be truly grateful. And the address is the same as always. It's patreon.com/temples. As always, I wish you absolutely nothing but the very best. You take good care.